right, this is an AI pipeline pulled straight from HighLevel. So it uses AI to determine where someone should be in the pipeline. It doesn't have to update a pipeline. You don't have to have like a bunch of pipelines set up. It just does it automatically. So in this case, I just enabled the AI status for hot lead. So there's not too many people in it, but we can see it goes from new contact to valid leads, so people who are actually like looking for the product or service, not just spam, then to hot lead, and then finally to closed won. And for each step, we can see like the conversion rate from the last step and the percent of the total contacts. So yeah, that's basically this AI funnel chart, and I'm going to show you kind of how it works. This is a new update for the product, Streamlined, and here is actually how it works. So if we head down to our setup for this automation, here's what we have. So we have a couple statuses for like solicitor or non-lead. So these people are going to be excluded from the pipeline, and it'll still show them in the dashboard, but they just won't be part of the pipeline. A lot of people, one of the biggest things I see with companies who use HighLevel is they create a pipeline that has like 80 stages. That's an exaggeration, but they have a ton of stages for every single type of lead. And what I usually think is you could probably do the same thing with like 5 stages, because every stage should be something where you can say definitively yes or no they're in the stage, and also there should be a point of friction from this stage to the next stage. So let me show you what I mean. So firstly, we have valid lead. So this basically means that in order to know if they're a valid lead, they actually need to submit a form with enough information or talk to the business with enough information so that we can tell yes or no they are actually a lead interested in the service. Then they become a hot lead, and so this one isn't as defined like strictly yes or no, but typically you're going to have like some good conversation and you're actually going to figure out what they're looking for. So this is sort of like your intro step, and that requires some friction with having to get on a call. And then finally, or next, we have consultation booked, and so this is obviously a consultation. And then finally, we have closed won. And so between each of these stages, there's clear friction, and it's a clear step in the sales process. And so the way you set it up is you give some context for the AI to know like how to tell when someone's in this stage. You can pick an icon and a color to show in the dashboard, and then we also have this selector that lets you move people up or down. So if you want to reorder stages, that's pretty obvious, right? But it gives you the order that they'll show in the dashboard. And then what you end up with is your beautiful pipeline right here. And kind of annoyingly, there's this bug where you just saw it, but it's like hard to do when I'm trying to do it, but you just saw it. It'll happen like infinite sometimes. Why is this so hard? There we go. But yeah, so this bug is very annoying. The interesting thing about funnel charts is they have very little support. I was only able to find about 3 or 4 decent options for creating a funnel chart, and some of them costed money, and I didn't know anything about the company. But I did find this free one, which I'm going to use for now until I, either find problems with it or need to, work on something like improve it. But yeah, so it does have this weird issue, but the good thing is I can show this custom tooltip right here, so you can hover over it and you can see what that lead status is, and you can see stats about the total value. And then if we go down to our contacts, we can see all of our contacts from HighLevel, and it gives us these AI statuses. So we can see like they have to be evaluated recently because I just turned on these new, like I just added these new statuses today. But yeah, you can see all the statuses, and anyone without a status basically hasn't been evaluated yet, so they won't show up in the pipeline. But yeah, that's really it. I think I just onboarded a client who they want to be able to use HighLevel as a single source of truth and kind of view all their pipelines. But when we started looking at their pipelines, we saw that a lot of them are kind of different. They have multiple snapshots, and so creating a workflow that can take the AI determination, like you can basically make the AI add a tag to a contact and say, like hot lead, right? That could be a tag. And then when that tag is added, move them to this pipeline stage. But the issue is if you have 80 sub accounts and, a lot of them, like 30 of them, have a different pipeline, um, that's a lot of, work. You have to go in and edit each of them. And then if you make any changes, you have to update it. And it's a fucking pain in the ass. So my thought here was like, okay, if people can use this dashboard as their single source of truth instead of HighLevel, then it's a lot easier because you only have like, this one pipeline is shared across all the businesses that should have the same pipeline, which that's one of the things I hate about HighLevel is the pipelines are kind of just poorly implemented to the result that you can't really get good pipeline data across multiple locations. So I guess I don't hate that about HighLevel, but when I'm building apps for HighLevel, especially across multiple locations, it makes things tricky. Whereas with this solution, it's one pipeline across all of your sub accounts, so you can filter it down to a specific location, or you can just view it, at the top level and see across all of your sub accounts with the same setup. So these are different templates for the setup, but if you use this, you would have like maybe one or two setups here, and that would be shared across all the sub accounts. So anyways, that is the video. Click the link below. My screen just froze, but click the link below. You can book a call with me to talk about getting this app for your HighLevel account. I highly recommend it. Doctors recommend this. Many people recommend this. In fact, it might be the most highly recommended. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you on Zoom, hopefully.